Okay, who got me blocked off? Half of my face, webinar.
All right, good morning, everyone. As chairman of the commission, I call this meeting of the Michigan Independent Citizens Redistricting Commission to order at 11:01 a.m. This Zoom webinar is being live streamed on YouTube on the Michigan Independent Citizens Redistricting Commission YouTube channel. For anyone in the public watching who would prefer to watch via a different platform than they are currently using, please visit our social media at Redistricting MI. Our live stream today includes closed captioning, ASL interpretation, Spanish, Arabic, and Bengali translation services are also provided for effective participation in this meeting. And please email us at redistricting@michigan.gov for additional viewing options or details on accessing language translational services for these meetings. People with disabilities needing other specific accommodations should also contact us at redistricting@michigan.org in order to participate. This meeting is being recorded and will be available on our website, www.michigan.gov/micrc for viewing at a later date. The meeting is also being transcribed, and those closed caption transcripts will be made available on the website and written as well as written public comment submissions. Members of the media who have questions before, during, or after the meeting should direct those questions to Edward Woods III, Executive Director of the Commission at woodse3@michigan.gov. For the public record, I will now turn to the Department of State to take note of the commissioners present.
Morning, commissioners. Please say present when I call your name, and please announce during roll call where you are attending the meeting remotely from. Elaine Andrade.
Present from Imlay Township, Michigan.
Donna Callahan.
Present from Mexico.
Juanita Curry.
Present and attending remotely from Detroit, Michigan.
Anthony Eid.
Good morning. Present and remotely attending from Detroit, Michigan.
Brittany Kellum.
Good morning, attending from Detroit, Michigan.
Rhonda Lang. Steve Lett.
Present, attending from Lee County, Florida.
Marcus Muldoon.
Present from Carlton, Michigan.
Cynthia Orton.
Present, attending remotely from Battle Creek, Michigan.
Rebecca Zatella.
Present, attending remotely from Wayne County, Michigan.
Janice Villette.
Present, attending remotely from Highland Township, Michigan.
Aaron Wagner.
Present, remotely attending from Eaton Township, Michigan.
Richard Weiss.
Present, attending remotely from Saginaw Township, Saginaw, Michigan.
I will go back to Rhonda Lang. Thank you. There are 12 commissioners present. You have a quorum.
Thank you. As a reminder to the public watching, you can view the agenda at www.michigan.gov/micrc. I will now entertain a motion to approve the agenda for today's meeting.
So moved.
Second.
I hear a motion made by Commissioner Lett and a motion seconded by Commissioner Weiss. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, there's been a motion that has been made and seconded to approve the agenda for today's meeting. All those in favor, please raise your hand and say aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Is there any opposed? Please raise your hand and say nay. The ayes prevail and the motion is adopted. Without objection, we will now move on to the public comment portion of today's meeting. And for this part, I will turn it over to the Vice Chair of the Commission, Commissioner Brittany Cullum.
Okay, I did not get a list to know if we have public comment, but I will ask at this time if we do have public comment. If so, I will proceed.
We have two public comment today. The first is from James Gallant, and the second is from Anthony Scannell.
Okay. So individuals who have signed up and indicated they would like to provide live remote public commentary to the commission will now be allowed. I will call your name and our staff will unmute you. If you are on a computer, you will be prompted by the Zoom app to unmute your microphone and speak. If you are on the phone, a voice will say that the host wants you to speak and prompt you to press *6 to unmute. I will call on you by your name or the last 4 digits of your phone number. For today, it will be by your name. Also, please note that if you experience technical or audio issues or we don't hear from you for 3 to 5 seconds, we'll move on to the next person in line and then return to you after you're done speaking. After they're done speaking. If your audio still does not work, you can email redistricting@michigan.gov and we will help you troubleshoot so you can participate during the next public comment period at a later meeting. You will have up to 90 seconds to address the commission. Please conclude your remarks when you hear the timer. First in line to provide public comment is James Gallant. Please allow a moment for our staff to unmute you.
That participant is not present.
Okay, thank you, Megan. We are going to move on to our second participant, Mr. Anthony Scannell. Anthony, allow a couple of moments for our staff to unmute you if you're present.
That participant is also not present.
I think with only 2 folks that have signed up for public comment, that will conclude our public comment portion of our agenda. So to anyone else, please feel free to email public comments to the commission at redistricting@michigan.gov. And we appreciate everyone and anyone who offers public comment in whatever way you choose. And we invite you to keep sharing your thoughts, especially through our next mapping process, especially if you'd like to share ways that the commission could improve commission business. And I will return the meeting back to our chair, Anthony Eade.
Thank you, Commissioner Cullum. Next up on our agenda are the items that we're going to address at today's special meeting. First up is topic 5A, appeal to the United States Supreme Court. We have our local counsel, Nate Fink, with us today to help facilitate this item. So without objection, please proceed, Mr. Fink.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, everyone. It's nice to see you all. So the Baker-Hostetler litigation team is here to discuss the pending appeal and pending litigation in the AG versus Benson matter. I would recommend that because this relates to pending litigation and litigation strategy issues, I would recommend that under your rules of procedure, section 6.2.5, that the commission go into closed session for the purpose of discussing that pending litigation, which is a permissible purpose under the Detroit News versus MICRC Supreme Court case. So I think I would recommend that a motion be made to go into closed session, and the commission is required to do a roll call vote should such a motion be made, and requires an affirmative roll call vote of 2/3 of members serving. to approve the closed session.
I move we go into closed session, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Okay, there is a motion that we move to close session to discuss the pending litigation with the United States Supreme Court. That motion was made by Commissioner Lett and seconded by Commissioner Wise. Is there any debate on the motion? I see no hands raised. With that said, we will now vote on the motion to move to closed session. All those in favor, please raise your hand and say aye.
We need a roll call vote.
Not voting, yeah.
Oh,
Mr.
yes, that's
Chairman, you're required to do a roll call vote under your rules of procedure for this vote.
All right, well, can we get a roll call vote from the Department of State?
Absolutely. Good morning, commissioners. There's a motion on the floor to move into closed session for the purposes of discussing the U.S. Supreme Court with our attorney, MICRC attorney. If you're in favor of the motion, respond by saying yes, and if you are not, please respond by saying no. Elaine Andrade,
Yes.
Donna Callahan,
Yes.
Juanita Curry,
Yes.
Anthony Eade,
Yes.
Brittany Kellum,
Yes.
Steve Lett,
Yes.
Marcus Muldoon,
Yes.
Cynthia Orton,
Yes.
Rebecca Zatella,
No.
Janice Vallette,
Yes.
Aaron Wagner,
No.
Richard Weiss.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, with a vote of 10 yes to 2 no, the motion carries.
Thank you, Ms. Young.
You're welcome.
We will now be moving to closed session.
Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry.
Nate has his hand up.
You have the floor.
Okay, there's an additional agenda item, which is after the discussion of the appeal, which is to discuss the remedial mapping schedule for the Senate, which also relates to pending litigation. And a component of that, I believe, should be discussed also in the closed session, but it's although it definitely relates to the AG versus Benson pending litigation, it's a separate discussion, but I think it should also, I think perhaps a little bit clunky, but I think the commission should also vote. My recommendation is that the commission take a separate vote to have a discussion held in closed session to discuss the proposed revisions to the remedial mapping schedule related to the Senate. And so I would request that, or recommend that the commission take another vote on that so that we don't have to come back here, do another vote, and then go sort of back and forth. Looks like Commissioner Lett has.
Commissioner Lett, I see your hand.
Thank you. Attorney Fink, are you referring to the entire revised schedule or a certain portion of it? What are we referring to?
Well, there's some component of that discussion that relates to, frankly, some sort of litigation strategy components. There's some briefing schedule issues that fall within that. And so I think that portion of the discussion should be had in closed session, and then ultimately the commission would then come out of closed session and vote on a proposed, hopefully vote on the proposed remedial schedule. But I believe that it's appropriate for the commission to have a part of that discussion in closed session because it does relate to litigation strategy.
All right, then I will move that the closed session also attend to the proposed Senate remedial plan schedule, those items that would pertain to trial strategy.
I'll second.
There has been a motion and a second, motioned by Commissioner Lett and seconded by Commissioner Weiss. The motion is to include a discussion on the proposed schedule for the Senate remedial plan as it pertains to pending litigation. Is that correct, Mr. Lett?
That's correct.
Is there any discussion on the motion? I do not see any hands up. So can we once again get a roll call vote, Ms. Young?
Absolutely. And just for the record, that was Commissioner Weiss that seconded the motion. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you. The motion is before you, commissioners. Yes response is that you're in favor of the discussion during the closed session, and a no response means that you are not in favor of the discussion during the closed session portion. I will begin with Donna Callahan,
Yes.
Juanita Curry,
Yes.
Anthony Ede,
Yes.
Brittany Kellum, yes, Rhonda Lang. She's not in. Okay, Steve Lett,
Yes.
Marcus Muldoon.
Yeah.
Cynthia Orton,
Yes.
Rebecca Zatello,
No.
Janice Villette,
yes,
Aaron Wagner,
No.
Richard Weiss,
Yes.
Elaine Andrade.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, again, with the vote of 10-2, the vote carries.
Thank you, Ms. Young.
You're
We will-
welcome.
We will now enter a closed session to discuss the two topics we just approved. This meeting will stay up during that, but please, how do we usually do this? Do folks leave the meeting and then rejoin, or is it better just to leave it up and keep your cameras off? What do we think for
We
that?
will leave the meeting, Mr. Chairperson, and rejoin. So look for the link in your mail, and then this link will stay open until the commission returns.
All righty, and we just received that link in our inboxes. So everyone close out of this meeting. See you in the closed session.
You good, Miss Juanita? You're on mute. But what you have to do is hit leave so that you close out of this session. I can't hear you because you're on mute, but there should be a leave button on your screen, bottom right. And then Edward has sent a link to our emails.
Megan. It's the ASL interpreter. I'm not sure if you can hear me.
The map. And so
I
the court would have
can.
to say.
There is
it
just a
doesn't remedy
second
violation
interpreter
if
that needs
voting
to be
is
let
out
in.
to
Her name
racial
is
jury
Sarah
or something
Houston.
like.
Okay,
And
I
we
have
could
this
vote to
locked
do it
right now
before
because we're in
Wednesday.
closed session, so I can't let her in until I'm able to unlock the meeting.
Okay. Is there, okay, I'll just let her know to watch for that.
You would be
I'm
very
sorry. Thank you.
All right, I will call the public portion of today's Independent Citizens Redistricting Commission meeting back to order at 12:18 p.m. Can we have Department of State take the roll?
Absolutely, Mr. Chair. Commissioners, when I call your name, please say present. If your physical location has not changed, you don't need to share that. I'm going to start with Commissioner Curry.
Present.
Commissioner Eid,
Present.
Commissioner Kellum. Present. Commissioner Lett,
Present.
Commissioner Muldoon,
Present.
Commissioner Orton,
Present.
Commissioner Zatala. Commissioner Villette,
Present.
Commissioner Wagner,
Present.
Commissioner Weiss,
Present.
Commissioner Andrade,
Present.
Commissioner Callahan,
Present.
and I'm going to go back to Rebecca Zatella, Commissioner Zatella.
Present.
Thank you, ma'am. You have a quorum, sir. 12 commissioners are present.
Once again, thank you, Ms. Young.
You're welcome.
All right, next on the agenda is agenda item 5B, approve the revised proposed schedule for the Senate remedial plan. If there is no objection, I will ask MICRC Executive Director Edward Woods III to facilitate this item. Is there any objection? Seeing none, Mr. Woods, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairperson. Welcome, commissioners. We have our schedule. We've been kind of going back and forth, take it into context what everybody wanted. I do want you to know that I did have a plan if the commission wants to consider a Saturday schedule. I did reach out to Secretary of State. They're willing to accommodate. I did reach out to our closed captioner, and that would be time and a half if we were to meet on Saturday. And I also, if the commission wanted to, reached out to MC Rothorn because of my faith with regards to using him. I reached out to him for the commission's consideration, if they wanted to go with Saturday, to have someone that is aware of what takes place in person at our public hearing sessions, and wanting to get someone that had experience working with the commission, is familiar with what I do. The other thing is, in the past, when Sue Hammersmith was our director, Julianne Pastula filled in, but the rate that we paid Julianne Pastula is a fifth of the rate that we would pay Nate Fink if he was to do it, and a sixth of the rate if we were to have David Fink do it. So that's why I thought it would be more fiscally responsible to go with MC Rothorn if the commission was to accept my recommendation at a lower rate, and then going with what happened previously. If the commission decides to do it on Saturday, I have not heard back from interpretation as it relates to their costs, but you can assume it's going to be either the current cost, or it could be time and a half, or whatever it may be. But just wanted to provide that context for the commission if it wants to consider Saturday meetings. As you know, the court is expecting on tomorrow a joint submission from the plaintiffs as well as our counsel with regards to the Senate remedial redistricting plan. It's really dealing with when the court will get the initial maps, and then when the court will get the final maps, and then the review. As relates to our meeting dates, those are the actual commission dates in terms of how we meet, and we have that flexibility. As you already know, the third Thursday of every month is our commission meeting. That is going to be from 10 to 12 as always. Next week, we will have briefings from our partisan fairness, as well as our map drawers. We will show the 2011 map. We will show the Linden map, just to provide context as to what the work that the commission will be doing, as well as the 6 districts that will need to be reconfigured. That will be done next week. Thought I was hearing background noise. And then we have, we'll hear from our partisan fairness and VRA with regards to the process. As you already heard, the process will go exactly the same way as we did with the House. So that'll be a regular commission meeting. Then on the 23rd, based on the feedback I got from everyone and their schedules, we'll have an evening meeting or afternoon from 4 to 7. We'll do drawing Senate maps. We'll start drawing Senate maps on April 23rd. That means the commission start for mapping will start on Monday, April 22nd. We'll draw Senate maps on that Wednesday and that Thursday. We're following that schedule 10 to 1, 4 to 7. And then we will come back and start drawing maps again on Monday, April 29th from 10 to 1. And on Tuesday, April 30th from 10 to 12. We'll be off May 1st and come back at it again May 2nd. May 7th, 8th, and 9th will be do public hearings in Detroit. Our goal is to have one in Oakland County, or I should say Metro Detroit area, Oakland County, one in Macomb County, and one in Wayne County. We're working on dates as we speak. We did do site visits yesterday. I can tell you on May 9th that our goal is to be at Wayne State University. Wayne State University on May 9th, which is in Wayne County. May 7th and 8th, we're still working logistics for 2 facilities. Then the following week, we'll come back, and those public hearings will be in-person meetings. They'll be hybrid for those commissioners who are unable to attend. There will be a hybrid option. May 14th, 15th, and 16th, we'll be drawing maps on the 16th. It's our regular commission meeting, so we'll be doing business on the 16th, as well as drawing maps. May 20, 21 is another drawing map sessions, and what we wanted to do because of the Memorial Day holiday was to have the maps done on that 22nd. And that will give a 30-day public comment period for the public to say something with regards to our maps. And the 22nd, they'll be due is on a Wednesday. We'll have them on a Wednesday so that we can have them due to the court and then have them up and ready to go. Our same goal would be Wednesday as well. We will host a virtual public hearing, session on the 29th and the 6th, where we'll actually go over the maps that the commission has for the public's consideration. And that will be in a virtual setting, once again, taking into account the Memorial Day holiday weekend, people coming back, and then giving people time to get their questions answered or their statements together, as the commission will hold public hearings on June 11th, 12th, and 13th. And that will be in Detroit. We're looking at several high schools. School will be out of session, and we're looking at hosting it in several high schools throughout the city in Detroit on the 11th, 12th, and 13th. And then the 20th is our regular commission meeting. The 21st, the public comment period closes. And then the commission will engage in Senate map deliberations on the 24th, 25th, and 26th, with the maps due to the court on Thursday, the 27th. And then we have the plaintiff schedules. The reason why the Senate map is due to the court on a Thursday versus the Friday is that we wanted to take into consideration the 4th of July holiday as a business day. And so by moving it from that Friday to Thursday, we accommodate that day. To be fair with the plaintiffs, this follows the same court order that was done with the house maps in terms of timelines and what we did. And so we copied it to a T, with the only exception is accommodating that an extra business day as it relates for the plaintiffs to respond with regards to whatever map the commission decides to vote. If there's any questions, I can take them at this time. I got feedback from the commissioners. I got feedback from Secretary of State, as well as our consultants, if there's any concerns with the schedule. And this was the consensus with regards to that. The only thing is, if the commission decides that they want to do a Saturday, that would need to be an action taken by the commission.
Thank you, Mr. Woods. I will now entertain any motions the commissioner wants to make any.
I move we adopt the schedule as presented with the possible future modifications depending on what we and the plaintiff finally conclude or the court decides. But I move we adopt it as presented.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion on the table to adopt the proposed Senate remedial plan schedule as presented, with the caveat of how tomorrow goes with the joint conference with the plaintiffs. That was made by Commissioner Lett and seconded by Commissioner Weiss. I will now open the floor up for discussion. I see Commissioner Zotella. The floor is yours.
Yeah, I'm not in favor of this schedule just because I think it unnecessarily prolongs the mapping time period for reasons which seem inexplicable, other than wanting to collect a bigger paycheck for a longer amount of time. We could realistically get these maps done in a week or two and put them out to the public. And it just seems like taking a 2-month period to draw maps just seems excessively long to me. So I have concerns about that. And it's also extremely disruptive for those of us who actually have full-time jobs to have to delay this out for 2 months when we could do it much, much faster if we actually just buckled down and did it.
Thank you, Commissioner Zotella. I see Commissioner Callahan.
Yeah, I just have a different question here. It's not clear 100% to me, looking at this schedule, which of these meetings are 100% virtual, which are hybrid, and which are in person. Could that be noted on that schedule?
Sure. The only ones that are in person, which would also be hybrid, are the public hearings, May 7, 8, and 9, and June 11, 12, and 13. Everything else is
Okay,
virtual.
Everything else is virtual. Okay, thank you.
Is there any more discussion on the motion? Do not see any hands. We will now vote on the motion, motioned by Commissioner Letts. All those in favor of adopting the proposed remedial Senate plan schedule, please raise your hand and say aye.
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 All those opposed, please raise your hand.
Raise your hand.
Nay.
Nay.
Seems to me that the ayes have it. The proposed schedule is adopted. Next up on the agenda is item number 5C, approve a vendor or vendors to increase citizens' engagement in mapping the Senate remedial plan. If there is no objection, I will turn this over to Executive Director Edward Woods III to present this item. Is there any objection? I do not see any objection. Executive Director Woods, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairperson. As the commission already knows, and we will put this on the screen, we did a request for quote. A request for quote is an informal bidding process where the commission has a range between $5,000 and $49,999.99 to procure services versus going for a full-blown procurement process for anything over $50,000. And what we're doing is the same thing that we did for the House, we're doing for the Senate, is we want to promote citizen engagement in reconfiguring Senate Districts 1, 3, 6, 8, 10, and 11 in Wayne, Oakland, and Macomb counties, not to exceed basically under $50,000. As a result, we had a process where we sent stuff out for bid. The bids were due on Thursday, April 4th at 5:00 p.m. We received 3 bids, 98 Forward, Culturate Public Relations and Design Company, and McConnell Communications by the deadline. We evaluated on 7 ranked redistricting criteria. I should say redistricting criteria, 7 ranked evaluation for public relations. We want them to share the years of experience in public awareness campaigns, including redistricting, working with traditional and non-traditional media, develop and execute a multimedia public relations plan. We wanted to see the principal on the resume, reference a resume for the team, and an estimated budget. If you noticed, all of the bids came over the $49,999.99. So an email was sent to each person to see if they would be willing to work for the $49,999.99 if they were to receive the contract, and the answer was yes. For those that responded to both the traditional as well as the non-traditional media, we asked them, would they be willing to work at a bifurcated $24,999.99 as it relates to the contract, whether they do the traditional and community outreach or the non-traditional and the social media outreach. And we got affirmatives on those that responded in their RFPs to both of them. As a result of that, the way the bid works is we would actually pay them directly for their services, but the paid media or paid advertising, the commission would pay separately. So this would be actually hours worked by the vendor, hours worked by the vendor. We were able to evaluate the bids. The bids were evaluated by Kristen Taylor, who was our event planner, administrative assistant, and myself. But we did have advice, not influence, not telling us what to do, but advice from the Michigan Department of State from Yvonne Young, which is consistent with our procurement policy in terms of how we evaluate the request for proposal. As a result, we have the following recommendation. We would like to bifurcate it and provide the traditional meeting and community outreach for $24,999.99 to McConnell Communications. They have been working with us in the past with regards to that. Once again, the request for quote, that's why you're hearing the bifurcation is $49,999.99 total. So we're splitting it where McConnell, which is what they did the last time, was the traditional media and communication outreach. But this time we want to do the non-traditional media and social media outreach for $24,999.99 to Culturate Communications. They did a statewide campaign on COVID-19 as well as preemption in Michigan, which deals with the legal doctrine that allows upper level of government to restrict or even prevent a lower level government from self-regulating, which is a complex topic similar to redistricting. They already established a millennial roundtable so we can get younger people involved in the redistricting process and have that. And then they've also done social media campaigns where they do live stream, where they can actually feature members of the commission to interact with the public on whether through Instagram, Facebook, what have you, to have their questions answered. So this is the recommendation that we would like to present to the commission with regards to the request for quote for public relations with regards to the Senate remedial plan. If there's any questions, I can take them at this time. I believe all of you were able to see the bids as well.
Yes, we did receive that earlier. I will open the floor to any motions.
I move the bids be accepted.
A second.
Commissioner Lett, could you clarify your motion to state which bids?
One's currently on the screen, the McConnell bid for $24,999.99 and the Culturate, how do you say that? Culturate Public Relations and Design for the same amount.
Okay, I heard a motion by Commissioner Lett and a second by Commissioner Curry. I will now open the floor up for discussion on the motion. Commissioner Zatella, I see your hand. The floor is yours.
Hi, Mr. Woods, I'm just wondering, I had raised the issue during our last meeting about concerns that members of the public have raised about lack of trust with the commission and the feeling that we didn't listen to them back in 2021, and why would they believe we listen to them now? Is there any plan to kind of address that in some of the media and the outreach that we're having to sort of try to restore faith with the public and address those concerns, which seem like a big elephant in the room from my perspective?
Thank you, Commissioner Zatella. There will be a comprehensive approach with regards to that to ensure that people know that they can show up, speak up, and their voice can be heard, and that the commission is listening. As you know, in the last process, when it came to the Motown Sound, the public overwhelmingly, favored that particular map and the public feedback. And so, as you noted, we're in the process of restoring that trust to ensure that we do listen to the public, and we'll continue with that as well. But that is definitely the plan.
Is there any more discussion on the motion? I do not see any hands, so we will move to vote. All those in favor to accept the recommendation and the media bids for McConnell Communication and Culturist at the amounts currently listed on the screen of $24,999.99 for each. Please raise your hand and say aye.
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 All those opposed, please raise your hand and say nay. The ayes have it.
Anthony, I'm actually going to abstain. This is Commissioner Zatella, abstain for lack of information.
Thank you, Commissioner Zatella. The ayes have it. We have now completed the items to address on the agenda. We will move on to announcements. Are there any announcements today?
Commissioner Eat, Mr. Chairperson, just want to remind the commission that our regularly scheduled meeting is next week. If you have any agenda items or something you'd like to share, please give those to me today. So far, I know we have 3 things that will be on the agenda. As I'm aware, I know Commissioner Wagner had a request to hear from Dr. Pettering with regards to discussing his email, so that will be on the agenda. We also got a discussion item to look at the ISPERS from Michigan State University. And then Commissioner Juanita Curry and Commissioner Richard Weiss also requested that we review the application that the commissioners filled out when they joined the commission. So those are 3 items that I am aware of that we'll be discussing in addition to our regular minute approval, financial reports, and executive report and legal liaison report. But if there's any other additional items, let me know. We will have presentations, as I shared earlier, for partisan fairness, VRA council, and our mapping consultant. So if you could let me know by close of business today, I would like to at least give you guys the agenda by Friday, just in case something was missed or something, so we can get all the materials to you on Monday.
Thank you, Mr. Woods. We will be on the lookout for the agenda for the April 18th meeting. Are there any other announcements? Okay, as the items on the agenda complete and the commission has no further business, it's time for us to go home. I will entertain a motion to adjourn at this time.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Lett and seconded by Commissioner Orrid, I think. Did you say second? All right, let's go
Yes.
with that. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Wonderful. Today's meeting is adjourned at 12:43 p.m. See you all next week.
Aye.